G'day, this is our next lesson and it's on worded problems and how do we actually deduce worded problems. Now worded problems are a bit tricky because they're sometimes not very linear. In other words, you might get what's after the equal sign first and it's all backwards, and you kind of know what I mean after you do a few. But the main thing to do is to read the problem carefully, determine what needs to be found. In other words, what are they asking? Because sometimes that might not be clear. And use a variable to represent the unknown quantity and then write the problem as an equation. That's really it in a nutshell. Very general though. Let's actually have a go. A rectangle is 3 times as long as it is wide. If its perimeter is 60 centimeters, find its dimensions. So I always like to draw what they're talking about. And so in this case, we have a rectangle. As we can see, it's an absolute beauty. And if I say that the width is x, and this is what I mean by it's not linear, because really it's easier to start with the width here, even though it's kind of at the end of the sentence. I know that it's 3 times as long as what is wide. And so that means that has to be 3 times its width, which is 3x. And now it's saying its perimeter is 60 centimeters. So how do we figure out the perimeter? Well, I know the perimeter. If I'm walking here, it's la 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 la. So that's just 3x plus 3x plus x plus x. So in other words, 8x equals 60 centimeters. Therefore, let's work it out. Divide both sides by 8. X equals 60 centimeters divided by 8. That's 7.5 centimeters. Now, this is what I meant by what is the question? Because usually it's finding the pronumeral, but in this case it's saying find its dimensions. So if we want to look for its dimensions, then we have to say, well, x therefore represents 7.5 centimeters, and 3x represents 1522.5 centimeters. You know what I'm saying? So this rectangle has a width of 7.5 centimeters and a length of 22.5 centimeters. So that is actually the answer to the question, not the solving. We just do the solving in order to work out the answer. Okay, let's have a look here. Now, the sum of 3 consecutive numbers is 150. Find these numbers. So in this case, we use a pronumeral in order to, because we don't know what the answer is. All we know is that if I'm going to call it n, 3 consecutive numbers is going to be n, and then it's going to be n plus 1, because that's one more than n, and then it's going to be n plus 2 is 2 more, equals 150, because the sum, meaning the total of these, equals 150. And so that means 3n plus 3 equals 150. So I'll take 3, take 3, they cancel out. 147 equals 3n. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. N equals, what's 147? That's going to be 14 divided by 3. Oh, it's a bit late. I'm getting a bit silly. 4. And then we have 27. Here's 9. Oh, so now we're getting somewhere. N is 49. That means the 3 numbers, they're consecutive numbers. We had n plus 1, and n plus 2. That means our consecutive numbers must be 49. 49 plus 1, and 49 plus 2, which is 51. Now, a whole bunch of you might have, what should I say, a set of numbers of those. Some of you might be able to figure that out without using a big chunk of algebra. In fact, I think probably most of you might have But this is a really nice, neat mathematical way of doing it. Let's do one more. These ones are a bit smelly. I might even need to pause this one because I haven't seen it yet. Justin is 6 years older than his sister Chelsea. Their mother is 3 times Justin's age. Oh dear. If the sum of the 3 ages is 79, write an equation to find Justin's age. So we know that the mother, this is A, is 3 Justins. Okay, we know it's 3 times Justin's age. We know that Chelsea, I'm going to call her C, is 6 years, let's just say Justin is 6 years older. So Justin minus 6 is Chelsea. And we know that Mum plus Chelsea plus Justin equals 79. So now let's substitute these little bits that we've done before into this equation. And we end up with 3 Justins plus Justin minus 6 plus Justin equals 79. So now let's expand that out. And we end up with 5 Justins minus 6 equals 79. Solve the equation for B and find each person's age. And if I know that 5 Justins minus 6 equals 79, I'm going to add 6, and 5 Justins equals 85. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and we end up with Justin. 85 divided by 5, what does that equal? 17. So Justin has to be 17 years old. And now, this is that same thing before. We know what Justin is, but that's not our answer. We're finding each person's age. So that means Mum has to be 3 times 17. What's 3 times 17? I can't even do that. I'm that tired. That's 30 plus 3 is 21. It's 51. And that means that Chelsea is Justin, or should I say 15, which is Justin minus 6, which equals 9 years old. So, highlighter. Chelsea is 9, Mum is 51, and Justin is 17.